want to see, but in addition to that, I think it's only a matter of courtesy that she would say, I'm here, if you're voluntarily making your records available, I'd like to come and meet with you, I'd like to meet your board, I'd like to have a discussion about that, we need to form a team if we are going to be looking for information. And if she doesn't want to come and meet with us, then I don't think we should voluntarily make our records available unless the city gives us an opinion that we're an agency of the city and Dan tells us that we have some obligation.
I disagree. I think their viewpoint has been clear. I think it was stated in the letter. I think us trying to force a team setting is not going to happen.
I don't
And
care
if our records are open anyway, I don't understand why we would try to clash.
We're not clashing. We're inviting. We're discussing. We're doing what normal people do when they want to talk about things. We sit down and talk.
Certainly all of our minutes are already public record, our budgets are public record, our audit. I'm concerned about the amount of time that you three staff will have to spend doing this. Because yes,
Well, and how far do we go? I think Dan's point is exactly right on. We need to know what they want to see. Because I don't know the gamut of this.
So, especially when we're strapped for cash to pay our overhead, I wouldn't want you to be spending a great deal of time, staff time, to respond to this request when we feel like we've already had complete transparency for our open meetings and records and everything already done. So I'm concerned about the amount of time we're paying for
Well,
our
and
staff to do
it may
this.
require some of Carrie's assistance as well, which is costing us money as we sit here. We've been spending money on accounting services.
I think we ought to also throw into that discussion the fact that Jim and Carrie did meet with the mayor and provided him all the information, and Scott, and they provided all the financial information that they had requested, and they had an extensive discussion about it, correct?
Yeah.
Were there any questions that were unresolved from that?
There was one question that the mayor brought up. We said we would do it, and we'd get time to do it. And Carrie's working on it right now. He wanted to know how much money has been given, or what do you say?
How much, his question was, how much city property tax has been not come to the city, but has gone instead to urban renewal in the project areas? Our response to that, and Jim's response to that was, it's an if but for. If the urban renewal project had not happened, would this redevelopment have occurred? We have no way of knowing that, but chances are most likely not. I have started, I've got Roger Clark at the county assessor's office is getting me data back to 1988 when the roll started. But I can tell you for the collections that will be done in this year, 2012, for all of the project areas, the city's portion, based on the city's mill levy, of the sales, or of the property tax, is a total of $91,540.
For this year?
For 2012 collections for all project areas, including Copperidge.
That's collections 2012, tax year 2011.
Correct.
Which is a small amount.
This is a very insignificant amount of money to the city's budget.
It's the
In
wrong
my
question too. He has to ask the second part of the question. You can't just give him that number without telling him what it leveraged.
And that's
And that's where you're gonna come into this.
Okay, yeah, it's an incomplete question.
well, I mean, it's a fair question.
And so the other reason I'd like Ms. Newman to come and simply meet with us is to answer the question of if the mayor asked for financial information, and we provided that in a meeting with our staff and our consultants. And there was only one question that can be easily answered. What else does he want, and why would he issue a press release without simply calling us and saying, I have some additional questions? A press release that says, I am going to inspect the records of urban renewal. I'd just like to clear the air on that. And I think that's important.
And can I just clarify one thing that Jim said? The question is not insignificant about whether we're an agency of the city, because remember when we met with the mayor, you brought that up. Because it has been determined in the past that we're not an agency of the city. And if we had been an agency of the city, we could have saved a significant amount of dollars on North Nevada. But because we're not an agency, because it was determined we're not an agency of the city, we had to spend a lot more money.
By the last city council.
Say that again, Ricky?
Wasn't it the determination made by the last city council?
No, it was by the city attorney.
Yeah, I'm not sure the council ever had said one way or the other.
Oh, council.
City attorney's subcommittee.
Yeah. And that basically is the reason we are not getting the information on the sales tax revenues.
Stay.
Consider us.
Another point made.
I mean, I disagree. I think we ought to continue to ask, to coordinate with the city as a team. I think we ought to collaborate with everybody that we have relationships with. We ought to do it in an adult way, by open communication, and sitting down and talking. And so, I don't see this as a small matter. I think this is really important. And so, I do think that I'm prepared to make a motion that our response to the request is asking for a legal opinion from the city attorney's office as to whether we are an agency of the city or not, before we respond to the formal request.